Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Now ladies and gentlemen, the Inspector General of Police IG Kanja, together with the DCI boss and CS Internal Security Kipchumba Murkomen, are in the eye of a legal storm after Justice Mwamuye made a ruling yesterday requiring them to present themselves before him, or he will make a ruling, or he will make a conviction for contempt of court. Apparently, the three were supposed to appear before Justice Mwamuye, who is a judge of the High Court, to answer to questions or charges that were raised by the Law Society of Kenya together with activists who wanted to know about the whereabouts of Kenyans who were abducted. Now, IG Kanja together with the CS Murkomen and the DCI boss did not appear, but instead decided to send representatives to the court.
No, just a moment. Just a moment. During the recess, I've had opportunity to think about this matter. Ordinarily, when I issue my orders and they're not complied with, it's a very straightforward, very simple way. The only three things I do. The first is I find you in contempt, dispense with mitigation and sentencing, and go straight to sentencing, if it is clear in the face. The other route that I follow is I find you in contempt, I invite you for mitigation and sentencing. And the third, where it is not clear-cut, I invite you for notice to show cause. So that is how I left this court for the recess. I was going to return and apply one of those three ways. But then I thought about Madam Mutua, who has come to court today, a sister of a petitioner applicant who is not before this court and whom is not at liberty. And I asked myself, what is the priority for this court? Enforcing judicial authority through contempt of court, or to get to the bottom of where the seventh petitioner applicant is? I'm sure Madam Mutua and her family and their friends are thinking the absolute worst now that they are seeing the second to the sixth at liberty, but their beloved brother, son is not. So I'm going to do something I do not do ordinarily. I will place the question of contempt to one side, because I firmly believe all of us in this room, our first priority is to secure the seventh petitioner applicant. I've heard Mr. Nyamodi, I've heard you, Mr. Nyamodi. Certainly there needs to be investigations, but this is not a matter for 14 days. What I'd want to hear from counsel is a proposal, not from Mr. Nyamodi, from the rest. I'll begin with senior counsel. What is practical in terms of a return date that gives the second and third respondents in particular the opportunity to take statements and to return, such that when the Inspector General of Police is returning before me for hearing, not a mention, for hearing, they'd have had an opportunity. And so that I make it clear, so that when you are giving your responses, there can be no doubt, if the Inspector General of Police misses on that third hearing date, I will go with option one. I will cite, convict, and sentence on the spot. With respect to the director, DCI, I will convict and invite him for mitigation and sentencing. There will be no further opportunities beyond this next hearing date.
If you listen to that ruling, Justice Mwamuye was giving the three an opportunity to make an appearance before him. Because if you listened or watched keenly, you'd be able to tell that he had the option of making a conviction yesterday. But considering the fact that, considering the weight of the matter before him, he gave the three an opportunity to come and be able to explain to Kenyans and or be able to explain to the court of law what information they have so far. Because in making that conviction, he would have shut down the opportunity for Kenyans to get to know what's happening and for these families to get to know more information about their loved ones who are missing up to date. And that ruling reminds me of the former acting IG Masengeli. You remember Masengeli, like some months ago, was in a similar kind of legal storm, and he took it as a joke because then he was acting as the IG, and in his thinking it was like maybe just because it was the IG then the courts could like look the other side and let him have it his way. But the courts stamped their authority, and he was convicted for like around 6 months. At some point, he was still thinking like maybe this was just a passing cloud until the news was so tight on him.
What would you like to tell the court?
My Lord, I want to thank you for the opportunity you accorded me to stand before you. Before I say anything, my Lord, I would like to apologize to the Lordship and the judiciary for the events that have transpired leading to the orders of this court. My Lord, I respect you and all our gods for the good work that you do to uphold the rule of law. As a police officer, it is my duty to enforce court orders and ensure that court orders are obeyed. I pray, my Lord, that this court accepts my apology, vacates conviction and sentence. So I pray, my Lord.
So whatever is happening right now, I think the judge then did set precedents, said that the current IG cannot make or cannot take this issue lightly. And I would want to congratulate the legal system or our judges for being able to be very bold enough to put pressure on the ruling class of this country. Because, you know, sometimes power gets into the heads of the top guys in this country, and they think that they can have everything their way. But according to the Constitution, we are all equal before the law. So whenever you are summoned or there is a court summon, what is expected of any Kenyan citizen is to honor a court summon, present themselves before the court, so that at least the court will be able to understand what is happening. And you see, in this case, IG Kanja was talking about having other commitments. Yeah, it could be that he had other commitments because, you know, he's the top guy in the police force, and there are so many issues that are happening in the country. But he should have made like a technical appearance, then let the other part of these proceedings proceed and ask for leave from the court of law then proceed to other engagements. That is how we should have handled it. But you know, when you ignore a court of a summon by a court of law, it sends a very, very bad picture out there, even to your juniors. So we are going to try and wait and see what is happening. But I know it's something that the courts will take seriously. Because look at it. Over the last, since these guys were reported missing, it's almost 30 days ago. What is it that, what information is it that the police commissioner would be waiting for? Because apparently they asked to be given like around 14 days so that they can record statements for from the guys who are abducted, and then get to piece together some information that they can present to the court of law. But from the time that these guys were reported to have been abducted, by now I think the police force, that is the IG, should have been briefed by the DCI. They have all the intelligence, they have all the information. So to me, there is no need of even giving them an extra 14 days that they are asking for. They should get to the court of law and present what they have. And from there, that is when they can ask for some more days so that maybe they can piece together, get some information from the guys who have been abducted, and then get back to a court of law and present this information. This will help Kenyans to get to know what is happening, where the guys who are abducted, because we've been getting a lot of information that maybe these guys are abducting themselves, maybe they are being abducted by state officers, with the IG denied. But for us to get to the root cause of all this, for us to get to know the truth, something has to be done. Investigations have to be carried out, and we need to tell Kenyans what is happening. If they are not state officers, who is doing this? And this can only be done by first recording statements from the guys who are released like around 2 days ago, getting to know what they know, where did they go to, how were they abducted, where were they taken to, how did they find themselves in these places that they were dropped, and who dropped them, you see. So these are some of the things that Kenyans need to get to the bottom of. But we can only get to the bottom of all these issues through a judicial process which has just started. So it's upon now the IG, the CS internal security, and the DCI boss to honor the court summons. So we'll wait and see if it's going to be another circus, and the implication of that conviction, if it is to be made on that very day. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep monitoring what's happening, and we'll get back to you whenever we get more information on this. But if you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Until next time, bye bye.